Summer days are filled with magic. The storms paint the afternoon sky, the mist soaks through the mountains, and growth is abundant all around. The water's reflections shimmer, the palm leaves rustle above, and time slows down on these long days. It feels like we spend most of summer by a creek or a waterfall, with dragonflies skimming the water and light shafting through the canopy. It's hard not to spend hours here. Happy the duck gets so excited each time as she zooms around the pond. It's impossible to not share this excitement with her, and immediately when I come down here, I feel this childlike joy again. So in awe of the magical world that we live in.
Going upstream is quite hard.
For the past few months, I've been building an art studio, and this week I just have a few last details before it's all finished. But I've actually been taking this week to slow down a bit. Building is hard work, and in the heat of summer, sometimes it just all feels like too much. So I've been balancing it with afternoons down by the creek. Happy the duck always teaches me this, to prioritize joy over everything else. Happy is almost a year old now. This little duck represents hope. She was our tiny miracle last summer. It was a hard time. Half of the flock had just been taken by a fox and we were devastated. Every tiny duck has a personality and it's so hard when you lose them. They had laid lots of eggs that summer, so we thought it would be a nice remembrance to hatch some of these eggs and meet the little babies of the ducks that died. I put 20 eggs into the incubator, but since the eggs were over a month old at that point, most of them weren't fertile. Weeks went by and no one hatched. I left the incubator on, but I'd given up hope of any duckling hatching. And then a tiny hole appeared in one egg. But over the next few days, the hole was not progressing. This can happen when a duckling isn't strong enough to crack the egg, and normally it means that the duckling won't survive. So I carefully help the egg hatch slowly over the next few days. If you do it too fast, the dry air constricts them, and if you do it too slow, they cannot make it. It was stressful, but finally, Happy the duck hatched. She became best friends with another duckling that we got from a neighbor, and they grew so fast. Now they've joined the big flock, but Happy loves humans so much, and she'll sometimes just quack at our door until you give her a cuddle. She gets these special adventures to the creek. If I take the rest of the flock on an adventure, I have to be careful because they can get too excited or they can get scared of something and then they run away. But Happy is different. She never leaves my side.
Alright, go down. Hello everyone. You all a bit jealous. I'll come on the next one. Whenever I take Happy for a swim, I bring her back to the rest of the flock and it's like she's showing off to friends. She comes in here and starts quacking and telling everyone about the day she had, and I feel like they all get a little bit jealous. She's just such a well-behaved duck, so she's the best one to take on swims because she loves to come home straight afterwards, whereas other ducks can get a bit carried away when they go for a swim.
Putting the ducks and the goats to bed used to take me so long. There's been times where this routine would last over an hour. But at the moment, we have finally got the system flowing so easily. Mostly because the ducks love their new food. And also, the ducks all live in one coop now, so instead of separating them into lots of tiny little houses, this pen is the only place that they live. It is hooked up to an electric fence, so if a predator tries to attack at night, they get warned away. I think the ducks understand this now, after so many close calls with foxes and snakes and eagles and goannas. They respect the pen as it protects them, and I think this also makes things a lot easier.
Maggie and Moth seem to love the food at the moment, but all of the kids are just a bit grumpy and there's so much food around that they just don't come in for food time. So I have to convince them. We got this beautiful cupboard from a garage sale today and it's amazing. It's hand painted and it's Indian and it's just so gorgeous. But we've been trying to get it up here and it's so hard, it's so heavy, but I think we did it. I think we're up. Now I've got to decide where to put it. I hope that I like it up here and I don't want it downstairs again. Perfectly. Because it's a loft grid down here, we don't have proper power. We've got rechargeable light bulbs instead, and then we just charge them up with our solar panel, and it's great. It works really well. Also means we don't have wiring everywhere. We got these second-hand off Marketplace and someone that had them it wasn't working for them. So it's such a good buy. We didn't have to buy anything new into the world. We could just use someone else's stuff that they weren't using. And they look so good in here. It really suits them with such high ceilings. So it kind of accentuates that. I love it. We also got these pots, but the colour is quite like a bright blue-white. So I think I'm just going to paint over them a little bit in a coat of old paint that we have and see if it looks a little bit better for the space. Oh yeah, I like that colour a lot more. Did you come to visit me? Did you come to visit? It's a long way for a little duck to walk. Follow me everywhere. Come on, we go back in. Happy must have come all of this way, which is a really long way just to see me. She knows that I'm down here all the time, so sometimes she just wanders through the paddock on her own, which is such a long way for someone that has such little tiny feet. And so then, of course, I let her inside. It's so sweet. Hey, I love to hang out. I'm going to paint this pot. I think I'm going to paint women on it, and maybe a snake motif. I really like the new kind of wash that I've done over it. I think it looks a lot better than it did before.
For the past few months, building the studio has been such hard work. Every day I've been busy with a different project or problem or idea. Every time you think you finish something, another thing goes wrong and a whole new set of jobs appears. Or every time you think you've made something perfect, you think of a new idea for a new renovation. When I started this project, all I was going to do was make the roof waterproof and fix the windows from leaking. Fast forward a few months and I decided to renovate the bathroom, kitchen, loft bedroom and make an extra room. Finally though, after these huge months of work, it really feels like we're at the end of this massive project. Next week, after some cleaning up and a few last decorations, I think I'll move in. It's more of a glamping situation since the whole place is off-grid and there's no fridge. It's the perfect place to sleep over summer while you have 1,000 creative projects going.
I'm borrowing one of Julia's brushes and I hope I won't get in trouble. She has her special ones and I don't want to be on her bad side.
Over these last few months, I feel like I've been rushing each day, and it's nice to finally slow down. In the moments in between, there is so much room for creativity. Like this afternoon, when I thought that I would just paint this pot a less blue-toned white, but with the freedom of the hours of the afternoon, I realized that I could paint it with patterns and motifs and spend some time lost in my thoughts. I think the animals know the secret to this, never rushing, but always finding joy in the small moments. Happy the duck has 3 priorities: to eat, to sleep, and to play. I think we can all learn a little something from Happy, who finds fun in everything. After the last few months not having time to do anything creative except for build, it feels amazing to finally have the time to create. It's funny though, you kind of build up the excitement of making something with your hands, and then when you get to it, it feels like it should be a masterpiece. This pot is giving me some problems. I probably should have primed it, and I don't have an eraser, and I'm using leftover house paint. It's definitely not perfect, but creating isn't about the end product. It's about the time in between. I'm so happy with how it turns out. It's the perfect addition to this room.
This is the plumbing that I did last week, and I did a really bad job and it came out and I didn't realise, so it ran the tank dry. And I'm a bit naughty. Anyway, I'm replacing it. I had this was here originally, but I'm putting an elbow in, and then that way the pipe won't have to twist, which hopefully means it won't fall out like it did last time. There'll be no more dramas with water.
The water here is off-grid and we collect it in a big tank on top of the high hill. So running the tank dry is really something you do not want to do, and I'm very lucky that we're in the wet season right now and we're casually getting storms that drop 100 mils of rain. Despite being a small job, this bit of plumbing was maybe my hardest job yet.
I'm underneath the studio, and this is where the goats come when it's rainy. They love just causing chaos in here. And one of the days that they were in here, they must have knocked the pipe off. So there's 2 pipes that are disconnected. So I'm going to go in and glue them. But it's really shallow in here. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to get in or out. Okay, I'm going to crawl backwards, because then I can always crawl forwards.
I definitely have a lot of respect for plumbers after this job. It is such hard work. Thank you so much to our community of patrons. Your support in our journey of planting trees and caring for the land means so much to us.